Resilient Living, my new show. I'm so excited about it. So this is where I will help you create a remarkable life through change and resilience. So my whole purpose of helping people was to help them be the best that they can be. So since most people don't want to invest in their intimate life, I said, to hell with it, I'm going in a different direction. So here we are. And my first guest is David Barnes. Who else, right?
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Yes, we're going to talk in a second, but I do want to invite you to connect with me on social media. Also subscribe and like this podcast, this show, and share it with someone that you think might benefit from the information that we share here today. Okay, so we're going to get started. So David said something at a meetup. He started an awesome meetup, by the way, and it's called
Align and Thrive by Watching Movies.
Yes. So, simple process of changing your life through watching movies. How easy can that be, right? Kick back and you can binge watch. A lot of change will happen if you binge watch, but yes. Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute, but David said something at a meetup, and he said, I have come to realize that when we work on our emotional and belief patterns, we have an incredible opportunity to make things better. Now, when he said that, the bells were going off in my head, and I'm like, that is so in alignment with what I believe. So he also mentioned some areas of life. So I want you to touch on what areas of a life does that quote relate to.
So we've been doing this work for about 13 years now, and we figured out that, you know, we're trying to find a way to describe the process and what we've experienced since we've gone on this journey. And just a quick recap, what we did was we used popular movies to act as sort of a teacher, not only for us, but for others. And while we were watching the movies, we did some resonance work where we energized beliefs that you want to reinforce in life and de-energize ones that you don't. And when we started this 13 years ago, we weren't really sure if it would work or not. Yeah. So but we made ourselves the guinea pigs. And so those of you that are aware of Reiki or some other energetic modalities know that sometimes you can step in and be a proxy for someone else. That's what we did. And then we went on this journey to figure out, well, how would it work out? So we needed to find a way to categorize all the changes that we've noticed not only in our lives, but in other people's lives. And these 5 key areas that we're talking about here are the emotional, the physical, the spiritual, the energetic, and the mental.
Yes.
And so you started out talking about alignment. When you can find alignment in all of these 5 key areas of life, everything gets better.
Yes.
And there is a type of balance that sets in that is sustainable. And even, you know, life changes, and we're constantly adjusting to the life changes.
Yes.
But what I have found is that the more we do this work on ourselves, and I see it with our clients, we can get back to balance quicker and quicker and quicker. And here's the part that does make life so much better, is you're really more available to make a contribution to others. You're available to show up. You're available to be more compassionate, and you're available to actually start to expand coming from the heart in your life, which is what we call alignment, aligning the mind with the power of the heart.
And I think that is so impactful in today's Me Too era, Gillette commercial era.
Oh, we're going to talk about that, huh?
We can talk about that.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I just think that the commercial was awesome because it was saying, be the best that you can be. Mm-hmm. And this has been our slogan for forever. So be the best. We can step up to the challenge and be the best that we can be. And I think when men stop, I forget the psychologist's name when she said, you know, it's bad for everybody when men can't really explore their emotions and be the whole person that they can be, balanced, like you said. It does hurt everybody because he's not getting what he needs out of life or about the people in his life because he's shutting off his emotions. Mm-hmm. And so I thought the commercial did a great job. However, there was some people that felt that, oh, well, look, you're trying to emasculate me and all this kind of stuff. So what was your take on the commercial?
Well, at first I heard the controversy, and I hadn't seen the commercial yet. So I had to go out and find it, because I hadn't seen it. And when I looked at it, of course, from my perspective and what I've been working on in the personal work I've done for myself, I think they're sending out a really terrific message. And I get also why some men and some groups would be hesitant or reactive to this, because it's a change. It's a big change about how we need to start seeing ourselves as men.
Yeah.
And how this change is necessary so that we can partner more with women.
Yes.
In everything.
Yes.
Partner at home, in our marriages, but partner in business, in the boardroom, in politics. And God knows everybody can see how that's dysfunctional and not working well. And I think that one of the pathways to finding balance again in all of these areas is that men need to do their own work so that they're available to figure out what is this new thing of partnership that's evolving. And so that's the first thing that I noticed. But then yesterday I was showing it to my wife, Laura, and she's in the jewelry business, not unlike your husband, Tom. And she said, well, it reminds me of how gemologists refer to stones. She says a diamond is considered a hard stone, and a jade is considered a tough stone. And she said, and so with a diamond, it's so hard you can't scratch it.
Yeah.
But with the jade, it's pretty soft, and you can't scratch it. So you wouldn't take the jade to the diamond and try to scratch it because you'd.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting part. If you take the hard stone of a diamond along with the toughness of a jade stone and drop them, the diamond's going to crack most likely, and the jade won't. And so I thought this was an interesting metaphor from this standpoint. As men, we were needed to be hard, if you will.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Times were very difficult. In fact, even if right now if something happened and this place was burning and we needed to get out of here, we'd want some really tough guys, hard guys, coming in here. And that's the way it used to be for centuries, thousands of years. Well, things have changed so much. And we still need those guys. And an aspect of men like that. That's definitely needed. But it's not needed for all of us. And so it's time for us to get into this balance and align more with the heart so we're more available to partner. And I know that the partner thing sounds like a nice aspiration. Isn't that wonderful? We're going to partner together. But I think it's highly strategic right now. And as we all step back and look what's going on in the world, and you can see the division that's going on not only here in the United States, but in Europe, it's everywhere. And then you see the changes that are occurring on our planet with climate, and it's raining in more places and other places are, and we have more environmental pollution probably than we've ever had. Yeah. We have emerging problems that are going to require new solutions, and I'm convinced it's going to be partnership that discovers a way out.
Yes, because there lies that balance. Because what women are good at, men are most of the time not, and vice versa. Or you'll find that someone may overlap, but there's still balance because there's something else that fills in that gap, right? And I also think that what you said about, those tough men, those strong men that need to come in and handle things, well, you can handle them and still be respectful and not make anybody else feel like they're worth less than.
Well, one of the things we've learned about this work is that belief patterns and ways of beings and emotional patterns are passed down generation to generation to generation. And so for a lot of men, that commercial for Gillette, it is good to start having the dialogue with each other.
Yes. Especially the boys.
Yes, and to start talking to them about bullying, and this doesn't have to be this way. And let me assure you, the younger generations coming in, they're actually coming in already with the latest operating system, and they're not defaulting to it as much as we did because the change is upon us. Yeah. They have access to more information. But this is a significant pattern as men that we have to change. And it's possible, but awareness is the first part. And I agree. I applaud Gillette for at least putting up the awareness. And look at us, we're having a discussion on it.
Yeah.
And it's a very positive thing. And yes, I understand why it can be offensive. But to your point, we can still be like Jade, like men, and be tough, but also malleable. My business partner, Sue Ann McGregor, says she likens it to trees. And some of them are big, massive, huge oak trees that have been there for hundreds and hundreds of years. And as long as they can continue to bend with the change in the weather, they continue to thrive.
Yeah.
But when the tree gets too rigid, it cracks. And so I like all the analogies to try and do this, because it's not like men are bad and women have it are right. Yeah. It's about something new that is emerging on our planet, and it's very positive, but it's looking chaotic right now because it's new and it's changed.
Yeah, and I don't even think that women think all men are bad.
No.
So that commercial wasn't saying that all men are bad.
I don't think so.
I think we're addressing an era, or Gillette is addressing an era. In this time period of women saying, okay, we've had enough of being treated a certain way, the pay scale differences, opportunities, and men being victimized and, just...
Well, these are extraordinary times, and I like to say sometimes, think about what's happened in our short lifetime in the last 15 years, technology. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the mobile phone, Apple didn't invent it until like 2007 or something like that. And once this technology came on, it connected us in a way like we've never been connected before on the planet. So something can be happening in Cleveland, Ohio, and you and I can see it and watch it live instantly. And so what's happening is we're getting to see some of the old ways, the old structures, the old kind of the not pleasant stuff that's been hidden, and it's being revealed to us. And so I see it as an extraordinary opportunity for us all to change who we are and get a new way of being. But just because we have changed doesn't mean that everybody's going to want to come along. And I think that's part of the pushback right now, is that people are afraid of what does this mean if we change all of these structures so drastically and so quickly.
And there are some people that are set in their ways, and no matter how you share with them tips and information that will impact their lives and get rid of the drama or remove the problems and the challenges, they are going to want to do it their way. And that's fine, to each his own. But we have to evolve. We have to be open to learn and grow and evolve. And when you stop doing that, you're really not living, you're just existing. And so that's
a really great point. And getting back to the technology example, just because it's easy for me as a guy, I think of what's happening is analogous to the operating systems that we see in our cell phones, our laptops. There are very sophisticated operating systems we have. In fact, they're constantly upgrading. And as the changes come online in these different operating systems, we can run different programs. We have more flexibility. We can do so much more. I see the changes, others looking back on the old DOS system and saying, that system was good enough for me and it should be good enough for everybody else. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a way to look at what's happening with our own energetic systems and why it's so needed right now for awareness like Gillette, so that we can start to choose differently, so we can keep up with the times that are going as humans in our connectivity and the social contagion effect that's happening to all of us right now.
I agree. And I do this thing, and what I have in the past, what's operating in the back of your system. Yeah. So what programs are running in, because these operating systems today, you can have several programs open and apps open at the same time, and you're not using them, and a lot of times we have to go and swipe to, because they're draining so much energy, so much power from our system. So what's running in the back of your system, that's causing you to have this same recurring challenges in life and everything. So I want to kind of tell you a little bit about David. I want to let him really give you the bulk of it, but he does energy work on movies that help us to be able to get the benefit from the movies. Now, I know that sounds kind of, okay, woo-woo, whatever, But I'm gonna let him tell you exactly what he does so that you can find him at peaceofmindovertures.com, right?
That's right, yeah.
So David's gonna tell you a little bit about him. So we're kind of like jumping all over the place with this interview, but we know each other, so I'm gonna let you get to know him.
It's so great to be with Dr. Cat. So just real quick background, I was with the Ford Motor Company for about 10, 11 years, and that is a pretty tough, hard charging company, and they were very good to me. And I was moving very quickly, and I started to get burned out, and I didn't know what to do with it. And so it was so severe, I was having trouble sleeping. And so I decided, we moved 3 times in 5 years, and we were supposed to move again, and I decided to get off of that and go to work for the Dallas Symphony, thinking I'd find more balance in my life, and that didn't work out like I thought. Well, now I was really fried, and that's when I found Sue Ann McGregor to help work on these patterns, these emotional belief systems that have been passed down generation to generation, and I started to unwind. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I'm a hard chart. There is nothing fluffy about me. I'm a very intense guy. That's why I took to the car business. It was perfect.
Yeah.
And then as I started to unwind, I started to see this is something really special. And she asked me to write Taming Your Dragons, Making Peace with Your Emotions, this book. She says, look, I think we're supposed to write this together. And that's when we figured out, well, wait a minute, if we do this resonance repatterning work on ourselves while we're watching the movies, theoretically it should work. Now there's a whole quantum thing going on that I don't have the vocabulary for. But someday maybe we'll explain how it all works and I'll have somebody that can. But today it just seemed like it would work, and it did. So we wrote a second book called It's Just Commerce, Returning Balance to Business. We've done over 650 alignment process movie sessions. So every topic from deep personal love to pain to economic issues to power, leadership, aligning with the heart in companies. And today now what we do is we work with clients and companies to help teams make this shift within their culture, but also help individuals with relationships, with their families, with the inevitable challenges that we all face when we come together in community. And so the movies make it easier to sit and watch maybe Brad Pitt go through his shenanigans in the movie. And then it's less judgmental on yourself. But to what you're talking about, those apps in the background, this work is actually working on those apps in the background while you're learning from Brad Pitt.
Yes.
And so to me, it feels less judgy. It's not as hard on yourself. And you can let go and hopefully get another round of awareness so that you want to go deeper with the work.
And that's perfect, because when you're trying to help people understand what we're talking about, when we watch movies and we can relate to the challenge or the experience that the character is going through, that is a great opportunity for you to do the work on yourself. So by watching the movie energetically, everything is energy. So, we're energy. The movie is energy. It moves through us. We can watch this movie and get the benefit from that. So it's just like, I guess if you do a vision board or you're trying to pray and manifest something good in your life, this works kind of on that level.
Well, it's like, we all are starting to now believe that affirmations are powerful, and they create, and it puts the focus on our brain, and that creates something else. And there's a lot of science coming around this. What we're doing is we're energizing the affirmations and the beliefs that you want while you're watching the movie. And we're de-energizing the stuff that's limiting, that's getting in the way, that's causing the chaos, that's getting you stuck. So when you're watching a movie, there's sometimes hundreds and hundreds of belief statements that we've done work around. And so yes, when we work one-on-one with clients, we'll tell you what's about the session. Or if you want, we have our own podcast on iTunes called Peace Overtures Radio. There's up to 50 podcasts there, and all of them are modules that explain, if you're having problems with communication, this one will help you with this specific issue, and then we'll give you 5 key areas. So if you want to check out some podcasts, they're free on Peace Overtures Radio on iTunes. And just the only thing that you have to do to get the benefit, we explain it in the podcast, but we created something we call an intention session. So using our computer analogy, you know, when you download an app on your smartphone, it runs the programs.
Yeah.
So we had to create a bridge, if you will, so that when you did one of these movie sessions, you only got the energetic benefits on your terms.
Yes.
With grace and ease. And so it could only process, it could take you weeks and months to process it. And so the intention session's on our website. And if you Google intention session, you should be taken to our website. And it's a series of statements that you read with a modality at the end. And then any of these 650 movies we've done, you'll get the energetic benefits that we did by watching the movie.
And how easy is that?
It's pretty fun,
I mean,
actually.
yeah. I mean, you're sitting back on the couch and doing energy work.
Yeah.
You know, while you're watching a movie.
It works. I assure you it works.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got together today to do this interview because I wanted to talk about the missing link. So this all kind of feeds into where I was going with this whole interview. We have to figure out what's missing. What are the missing pieces in our life that is not making our life that remarkable place that we, you know, that life that we want to live and we're happy and everything is working. But when life is not working out, we need to look within. And I just love saying that because we only have control of ourselves. So if we're not happy, we have to figure out what's missing. What's the missing link in our world? What's the missing link at work? What's the missing link in our relationship? And so on and so forth. We have to figure out where are those pieces that are missing. And I use that analogy of if our life was a jigsaw puzzle. And I love puzzles, don't you?
Yeah.
I love puzzles. And with each experience, you get a piece of that puzzle. And you're placing the puzzle. And then the center of the puzzle is probably still empty because you're still alive. But as you're getting those pieces, you start to see your life all come together. So wouldn't it be great if you can get all of those pieces and see know where your life is going so you'll know what pieces you're needing and, you can go after those pieces, before your time is up. And so that's what we're talking about, finding those missing pieces, the missing link in our lives. So David was gracious enough to come and share what he does because I think it aligns again with what we're talking about here. So tell me, okay, so let's use a scenario. Give us a movie that will kind of touch on that and kind of help someone kind of explore, the idea of, oh, something's not working in my life. How can I fix it? Yes.
Okay. Well, I like your analogy of the missing link because part of it is, it's never just one thing that puts it all into place. And if you've ever done a huge puzzle, using this, sometimes you need one piece before you can even see how the other ones start to fit in. Yes. And it's a great analogy. And so for us, I see this missing link piece is aligning the mind with the power of the heart. Okay, in everything that you're doing. And there's all kinds of great science that's starting to come out about the power of the heart. Mm-hmm. The Heart Math group, if you just Google Heart Math, they have all kinds of research that teaches us about how the heart puts out 5,000 times more electromagnetic energy than the mind. And they're starting to see that the heart is actually sending as much, if not more, signals to the brain as the brain's sending to the body. And so there's all kinds of research that's talking about this. And this 5,000 time huge electromagnetic energy that's coming out of our hearts are like a big torus field, like this big round ball of heart energy. And when we come together like you and I are, we entrain each other. And this is a concept that they talk about, but essentially entrainment means we actually pass back and forth emotions and feelings and beliefs. And when we're in alignment with each other, we actually help raise each other up, which is why you see in all the traditions, it's about us coming together in unity that makes such a change. And that the power of coming together in love changes things in such massive ways.
Yes, and I agree with you. I agree. I agree. Well, we have run out of time, but I want to make sure I tell everybody about your 90-day alignment mastery program that you offer. You can go to peaceofmindovertures.com to sign up for that. So thank you so much for being here, David.
Thank you.
And we'll talk with you next week. Thanks so much.